Slipping through the dark streets and the echoes and the shadows, something stirs behind me. Oh, it's Jay and Tim, and we're going to talk about Freeze by Rush.
Hello. 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 Every Rush song.
Part 4 of Fear.
Part 4 of Fear.
Part 4 of the Fear trilogy.
Tim, what were you just saying off pod about Freeze?
That when I saw the title and that it was part 4 of Fear and I listened to it, it wasn't what I was expecting. I don't know. You know, maybe it's like Phantom Menace. Okay. I liked Phantom Menace, but Phantom Menace wasn't as good as A New Hope or Empire Strikes Back.
Agreed.
It's about the same as Return of the Jedi, you know. But I do like the song. I like the choruses the best. And I do have some things to say about Neil's drum fills in this song that I love them. And not because, to me, they're almost not Neil.
Okay.
Space guitar.
Really?
Yeah, I think. I mean, one of them is Barry Neil. And we'll get to that. Go.
And is it? Oh, right. Yes. Thank you.
Sometimes I freeze until the light comes. Sometimes I fly into the night. Sometimes I fight.
That's a
I
cool
just have
riff.
an observation. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, that was it. Just a cool riff.
Well, yeah, and which leads me to my observation. I think that this instrumental has too many words.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's too much singing in this instrumental.
So you would like it better as an instrumental?
I like a lot of stuff as it, but yeah, for sure.
That's not it.
It's fun because it lends itself to just, you know, they could add a little to it, obviously, to make it a little more instrumentally. Because right now it's instrumentally challenged because it's a lot, not as much, but
It's pretty repetitive for a Rush song.
yeah.
Because that one riff, which,
Yeah.
what time signature is that? I have tried counting it and I have failed.
3/4.
3/4? 3/4 what? 3/4 something.
3 or 4 time signatures.
All right. And we were talking a little bit about this guitar sound here at the introduction.
I love that part. You don't like the harmonic? I like that.
I love the harmonics.
It's 7/4 at the beginning.
Is it?
7/4.
It's 7/4, and then when the singing starts, it's 6/4.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm going to try to count it again someday.
So what I liked about so in that first measure, I mean, it kicks off with, it's got Geddes, just the bass and the bass drum and cymbals. And then you got the second measure, it kicks in with that harmonic thing that Alex is doing. And then in the third measure, as we get to that, you'll hear it's Geddes. He switches to bass. They're kind of bass chords.
Yep.
And then the first verse kicks in and goes from there. But
So yeah, the song starts out 7/4 into 6/4 into 5/4, and then when you get coiled for the spring, you know, then it's into 4/4.
Wow. Well, the first two passes were from the remix. So let's listen to that intro Jay just talked about on the original. it's very, I mean, it's not Rush like. It's unrush like. It's very different from, not just different from anything Rush has done, but different from just about anything anyone else has done.
I mean, the
Cool in that
only
regard.
similarity to anything Rush is the time signature changes.
Now, Jay, what were you saying about those sounds, the atmosphere, the feeling that it reminded you of?
I'll tell
Yeah.
you what it makes me think of.
What does it make you think of?
So when it's that high part, it makes me think of your body slowly being covered in ice. And the ice is just freezing down from your head down to your toes.
And you'll be fine if you survive the freezing process.
Yeah, it's true.
That was a
suppose-
cheap Empire Strikes Back reference.
So as the song goes on, like I love the beginning. I think it's just a funky, cool sound to it. And then as the song builds, kind of rocks a little bit. And then after the chorus, which is after Sometimes I Freeze, it goes into this break that's sort of light and poppy, despite the heavy lyrics. And it's just a very straightforward melody, coiled for the spring. And the second time it comes around, it's blood running cold. It's a very happy sound, but the lyrics are not so much representative of the happiness. It seems like the entire song to me is dissonant, and then it resolves only during those two breaks.
And the rest of it has that just, I mean, it almost
Yeah.
makes you like, because between the time signature and the sound of the guitar, you're just kind of,
Yeah, it makes you tense, and then you got this. It's like, okay, we'll let you down,
yeah.
we'll let you
And
off
I'm-
for a little bit, and then we're gonna go right back to it.
And I mean that in a good way, by the way. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's a cringy song.
Can
And
we
it's
hear
a-
that? Because
it's a good
that,
cringe.
so you can hear what I'm talking. I know you've heard what I'm talking about, but
Why? Yes, we can. Jay.
yeah.
Quiet for the screen, caught like a creature in the headlights. Into a desperate panic, or a tempest of blind fury.
And there's
mean,
a lot of
it's-
cool things going on there too. That
Yeah.
what was that? Was that a bass, a kick rough there? Is that what we found out last week? That is, Tim?
Yeah, and that is one of my examples of how Neil on this first one, where you would think he would be doing more than what he does, but he keeps it very simple here.
Yeah.
You would think in part of that it would be like from the exit stage left Xanadu drum fill that second time where he starts from the highest tom going down as fast as he can, you know.
Yes.
But no, he keeps it very simple, and he does something else. He doesn't finish the triplet on the downbeat. Digga digga, digga digga, instead of digga digga or digga digga. So digga da, digga da. That's what he's playing instead of digga digga, digga digga. That's interesting.
Digga digga, digga digga, digga digga, digga
Digga digga, digga digga, digga digga, digga digga, digga
yes,
I
that's going to
couldn't
be a,
agree more.
Leave it to
That's
Shayne
gonna
to
be a
give us
real-
that nice trumpet part.
okay. I want to listen to those drums again.
Sometimes I'm right.
Right there. Ah,
Quiet for the screen, caught
that's right. I never, yeah. And then with the syncopated triplet there at the end.
Yeah, the dun dun dun.
dun.
Yeah. And even in that syncopated tom fill right there, it's not, and I think it's the way that he played it. He didn't want it to be bomb, bomb, bomb. You know, it was just jun, jun, jun. You know, just very, I mean, it's there, you hear it, but it's not Tom Sawyer.
Well, it matches that break in the song, because like up until that, like when you were just playing a while ago, up to that point, it's like you're holding your breath, and then this comes in, and you're like, okay, all right, this is better.
And I'm going
But-
to use a term that you don't usually use with Rush. Does this part almost sound, the terminology is wrong, but I'm going to use the word pop,
Yeah, I actually
like
mentioned
a good pop song. You know?
that's actually what I was saying. It's very light and poppy,
Right.
so to speak. Yeah.
I
I
would
agree.
say that maybe it's almost radio friendly.
I'd say it's
Right.
very radio friendly.
If
Like-
the whole song was structured like that,
Yeah.
then yeah, Carrie Underwood would have said, "I want to do that song."
What if Taylor Swift did it? Sing with
Oh.
them? That'd be awesome.
She would
That'd be
ruin it.
Awesome. Awesome.
Spare.
You don't know that. Hey,
Tim.
we here at every
Tim.
Rush song support all musicians, all shapes, all sizes, all musicians,
Especially Taylor Swift.
especially Taylor Swift.
Whoa, do we support Axl Rose?
Who?
Yeah, as
Axl
long as he
Rose?
doesn't do the "What's so civil about war" anyway, then sure.
Hey, yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, we're not here to judge.
We are
No,
not.
I
We are a
am.
judge-free. We are a judge-free zone
Yeah, we don't judge.
unless we disagree.
Right. Unless you're saying Getty should play bass parts that are different.
Right, exactly.
The other cool, so and then you have this nicer radio friendly part of the song, but I also think, Tim, with those triplets that don't end, because you always want to hear that that you
Yeah.
want that last part, and when you don't get it, you still get that feeling of the dissonance that Jay talked about in the first part of the
Right,
song.
yes.
Can we listen to it again?
Oh yes,
Sure.
please. Yes, please. Yeah.
With the drums. I never noticed that, Tim. Thank you.
And now listening to it, I don't think that is a rough with the bass drum. I just think that's a run done.
Yeah. Like maybe
Yeah.
a 4-tone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, also listen, because and you might not hear it here, but listen to it on headphones when you get a chance, and listen in the right speaker to what Alex is doing, because he's doing more harmonic things that still give it that sort of intense feel, even though it's a more mellow part. But most of these have been on the remix. Here it is on the original, because I'm guessing that they'll highlight that part a little more in the original. I take it back. You don't hear them as much in the original.
No, but I'm hearing more of Getty's bass in that.
Yeah, the chords and the
Yeah.
just so much in those few seconds between all three of them. All right, back to the remix. Yeah, because because he's doing the da-da-da-da-da part on the guitar, but in the right speaker, only on the remix, you can hear this kind of a harmonic and then some other lower distorted notes that don't even sound like the notes are part of the chord, but still somehow fits. It's very cool. We didn't talk about the meaning of the song. Kind of skipped right over that because I got excited about playing the music parts.
I've got some thoughts about that, but first, can I mention something?
Always.
The whole idea of so this is Freeze Part 4 of the Fear trilogy, which is hilarious. And it's kind of like, and I think there might be a nod to it. It's like the fourth, fifth, and sixth, although the sixth one was not written by Douglas Adams, of the Hitchhiker's Guide trilogy. Because it was a trilogy, and then he came up with a fourth one and a fifth one. Then I guess somebody else wrote a sixth one.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, because I remember when Mostly Harmless came out, and it was the fourth book in the trilogy.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny.
Yes.
So, yeah. Sorry.
Good point.
I was just going to say,
No.
so the song, I think, could be about a freeze, a response, freezing. What that is, it's an automatic, involuntary response to a threat. In a split second, the brain decides that freezing rather than fighting or running away is the best way to handle the situation, survive what happens. So sometimes when they freeze, people disassociate and feel like they're watching themselves from the outside of their own body, or their body maybe go rigid or limp so they can't move. So it's sort of like you just kind of, in that moment, you freeze. And then I had a point. That's twice I had a point. It was just gone.
No, I think you made the point, and it was very good. I completely agree with you.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think I got it. I got where you're going with it because it was kind of it's. I think it's easiest to see in cats. If you see a
Right.
cat walking across the room and you just snap, the cat you'll see it freeze. You'll see
Yeah.
that same response.
Yeah.
I started to say that Tim's talking about. You'll see that same response, that freeze response that Tim's talking about.
That reminds me, have you seen the cat video where the cat like was just making, he's walking real funny looking? That's funny
Yeah,
as hell.
yeah. I've seen that. That is funny.
I love cat videos.
And well, and he mentions because there's it's the three responses that we have to fear, I guess.
Right.
In case you're wondering, it's a limbic response. It occurs from the limbic system of the brain. And it's
boring.
But so he talks about it in the song. Of course, I'm looking at Out of the Cradle lyrics. Sometimes we freeze until the light comes. Sometimes we fight against the darkness. Sometimes we fly into the night. So he talks about all three of them. He mentions all three of the limbic responses, but the song's mainly about freeze. And isn't it weird? You only ever hear fight or flight response. Nobody ever talks about freeze. Why is that? Why doesn't anyone ever talk about freeze except for Neil?
Well, Shayne, I think it really all it comes down to the fact that Neil was a genius.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. And he was in about the time he wrote this, he was going through something where I guess he did kind of fly when he went on the Ghost Rider thing. But
that was his way of protecting himself from what could have happened had he not just taken off. That's like his way is like, that's sort of the freeze moment. He's getting out of that situation and just kind of, he's not really running.
No.
He's if anything, he's just running. No, he's not running.
Well, no, yeah, that's a good point. We
Yeah.
think about he went off on a road trip, which seems like we're going to associate with flying, but in this case, that was more of a fight. That was more of his fighting, and probably up until he left, there was probably a lot of freezing going on until then.
Yeah.
All right, this first line is one of my favorite Neil lines ever, when he's describing the early morning when it's still dark. The city crouches steaming in the early morning half light. And then I just love, the sun is still a rumor and the night is still a threat. Because it's right there between them. The sun's not up yet. And if you're freaked out enough and scared enough, it's not out yet. Maybe it won't come out this time. It's, as far as you know, it's just a rumor. And even though it's not quite as dark, there's a little light outside even before the sun peaks up over the horizon, but it's still dark enough and you're still freaked out enough that the night still seems like a threat. That is just a brilliant line. I love that line.
Good line.
Good
Indeed.
line.
Now, here is my issue with the song.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's got this kind of bridge thing at the end. Here's what I don't like about it. When he gets to this climax of that little section right here, what happens? It should have ended there. There should have been a stinger and end of the song. That last chorus is just too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that. I
Yeah.
can see that. I'm sorry, Shayne. How many records have you produced for internationally known artists? All right, why don't you shut the hell up, okay?
It was the two that I did with that one
Yeah.
band, and then I haven't done one yet. I haven't done one.
You carry the one, and then
No, I
divide by
agree with you.
4.
That would have been a good ending point.
And
I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
someone probably
'Cause that
argued
was a-
about it.
Kick-ass sounding section there.
Yeah,
that would have been a great note to go out on. Yeah,
and then it goes back to the chorus.
yeah.
And
I'm with you.
I don't know how many times the chorus repeats in the song. Probably should have counted it, but I think it's one too many. Just one too many. Now, I do like the harmonies there. I really like all those harmonies, but I'm not sure how I feel about that. It did need something.
Keyboards, Shayne.
I know. And it
No
needed
keyboards.
something
You have to
for
you
that
have to do
melody.
something.
But I know. Yeah. You
I
know what?
really like that
Challenge
melody. That melody is like
accepted.
really good melody. I like this. I
That
mean, like it's
that
dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, and the harmonies on it are really cool. How long does he hold that note? That's kind of a, he doesn't
I like
usually
the way- I
hold
like that.
notes that long.
Yeah.
Long time.
There's a lot of really cool references to different creatures having that freeze response, the coiled for
Right.
the spring, like an animal, a cat that's about to lunge, snake that's about to strike. When they're coiled like that, they're still kind of hiding a little bit before the attack, before the fight. And that's a way too that the TSA agents are trained to watch for when people are coming through security, even before they get to the line. The agents will watch for people walking through the airport, because there's other ways that limbic response where if someone's nervous, like if you're doing something wrong at the airport and you don't want to be noticed, it's the same thing like at stores, a lot of store security or mall security or any event security. They'll watch for people that kind of do the same thing. When they don't want to be noticed, they'll kind of hunch. They'll subconsciously try to make themselves smaller, where they're trying to just not be seen, trying to hide, trying to be shorter and narrower than anyone else and anything else. And it's interesting psychology stuff there that goes along with these fear responses.
Oh, here he goes
Yeah.
with psychology.
Man, I had to
again.
stick something in there.
So how long does
Yes.
this song carry on at the end after where we think it should have ended?
It's not as long, but the song is 6 minutes and 21 seconds.
Could have been
And
5 minutes and 21 seconds.
yeah,
No,
and
5 minutes and 47 seconds.
and it seems like
Yeah.
it seems like a 6-minute song, whereas
Yeah.
Secret Touch a little longer, 6:35, and it seems like it's over like that because it's so badass all the way through and doesn't have any bad parts whatsoever.
And I mean, of course, the longest song on the album was Nocturne, or was that just our episode?
No, that was just the longest episode ever.
Okay. I couldn't remember. I knew it was one of them. Okay. Overall, what do you think of this song?
I would like it a lot more if it ended after that part. And sometimes I'll just go ahead when it finishes that kind of climactic bridge there and gets to that last chorus.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll go ahead and
Just turn it off. Just
I'll
skip
go
to the
ahead
next song.
yeah. I'll just go ahead and go to Out of the Cradle, but also really like Out of the Cradle too.
Well, Tim, what do you think of this?
It is my 8th favorite
Of
Oh.
all time? Or just
from
on the album?
from Vapor Trails.
Wow. Well, that doesn't say
8th
much.
favorite.
There's a lot of songs on this CD.
There
What-
are indeed.
Right.
What songs do you like less than Freeze?
I don't
Nocturne?
know. When we come to the closeout of Vapor Trails, I will have
Ah.
them written down in order of likeness.
Well, that's coming out in a couple of weeks, isn't it? Because we just have one more song left on Vapor Trails after this.
Wow. That's amazing. This is and this was this a 13 song album?
It is a 13er.
That's right.
It's
That's a lot in dog years.
Wait,
Dog years.
dog ears on this one? Wow, we've
It's
told
the
you.
season of the itch.
We have told you what we think of Freeze. We want to know what you think of Freeze. Let us know. 2112 at everyrushsong.com. Hit us up on the Sosh Instagram at everyrushsong. Be sure to subscribe and hit that little bell so that you get notified whenever a new episode comes out. Tim, don't freeze now. Fight, Tim. Fight for the ending of this episode. Here it comes.
Thank you very kindly, Cody, Wyoming. Good night. Bye-bye.